Messi. Neymar gets his hat-trick this time. Oh my goodness. Lewandowski!
Hi football fans, welcome back to our channel Football Cape. If you haven't subscribed it, please do and hit the bell icon for the notification of our new video. In today's video, we'll try to give you some information and facts about one of the best national teams today, the Belgium national team. In November 2015, Belgium became only the 8th nation to claim top spot in the FIFA rankings, confirming their transformation from ranked outsiders to genuine contenders for international honors. But how did the Red Devils climb from 71st to 1st within the space of a decade? Belgium national team, also known as the Red Devils, are one of the exciting teams in today's football, but they haven't been around for long. We all know the likes of Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, Vincent Kompany, Romelu Lukaku and Thibaut Courtois. The history of the Belgium national football team officially dates to their first international in 1904. The Royal Belgian Football Association, which governs the team, co-founded the international governing bodies FIFA and UEFA. As of October 2015, Belgium qualified for 12 FIFA World Cups and 5 UEFA European Championships, including an automatic qualification as co-hosts in 2000. In the periods 1920 to 1938, 1970 to 2002, and since 2014, Belgium participated in many international tournaments, including 3 Olympic football tournaments in the 1920s. So far, the national side is considered to have had 2 golden generations, one in the 1980s and early 1990s, and one since the early 2010. Belgium's main football rivals are its neighbors, the Netherlands and France, with which it shares close cultural and political relations. The matchup between the Belgian and Dutch team is known as the Low Countries Derby. As of May 2018, they have played each other in 126 official matches. Belgium won the first 4 unofficial matches against the Netherlands but lost their first FIFA-recognized contest. The two national teams played each other biannually between 1905 and 1964, except during the World Wars. Belgium's rise began with humiliation. Sablon was an assistant coach at the 1986 World Cup for Belgium's last golden generation. Built on brilliant goalkeeper Jean-Marie Pfaff and midfielder Enzo Scifo, known as Le Petit Pelé, the team reached the semi-finals. A decade and a half later, Sablon was asked to run the Belgian half of Euro 2000, which the country co-hosted with Holland. But the tournament was a disaster for the national team. Sablon worked like a maniac. He spent 2 years driving to Belgian youth competitions and studying what the French and Dutch national teams were up to. He commissioned researchers at the University of Leuven to analyze 1600 hours of footage of young boys playing 11 on 11 to figure out how often they actually tossed the ball. He convened People's Congress-style meetings with groups of coaches from various levels of Belgian football to discuss formations and training methods. "We were crazy, of course," he told. "We never stopped. We started in the morning and we finished in the night, every day, Saturday and Sunday." It was June 2007 when then manager Wim van der Wicken saw his side slide to their lowest point, but Belgium had been on the decline for several years. However, things suddenly changed in the World Cup 2014 campaign. Not only did Belgium end their 12 years starvation, but they also headed to Brazil, considered as a genuine dark horse. While their campaign would end in a quarter-final loss to eventual runners-up Argentina, Wilmots' squad was well on its way to establishing its place at the top table of international football. Those progressions on the pitch continued throughout the Euro 2016 campaign as they battled their way to top spot in a difficult qualifying group. In September 2006, Sablon set out to completely overhaul the Belgian grassroots structure. The technical director insisted that all national youth teams implement a 4-3-3 system. This change of tactic would be emphasized by an announcement to scrap league tables for teams playing at the under-8 level, while small-sided games would also be utilized to nurture developing stars. One of the telling aspects of Belgium's style is their comfort on the ball. This is one of the many products born from those early lessons. At the highest level, football matches can be won or lost on a single moment. Like others, Sablon thinks that the objective of the youth teams was no longer to win games. It was to develop players and created a rule that once a player had moved up, for example from the under 17 to the under 19, he did not go back, not even for crucial games. In 2009, 3 years after the plan was formed, the results of the country's youth teams began to improve just at the time the players had learned not to focus on winning or losing but simply improving. June 2012, Mark Wilmots was appointed Belgium's full-time coach. His Belgium side might play in a straightforward 4-3-3 formation, but if you look a little closer, you will see that manager Mark Wilmots' tactical setup can just as easily be described as 4-5-1. The key there was the road duels fluid midfield led by confident defensive midfielder Axel Witsel. Ahead of Witsel, Wilmots usually plays Marouane Fellaini and Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard, and depending on the match and Wilmots' decisions, Kevin Mirallas typically starts on the wings joined by Lukaku at front. Witsel could often be seen functioning as an anchorman and staying behind as Fellaini bounded forward to join attacks. Hazard would often roam from the left flank to the center while De Bruyne moved in opposite direction. In other words, many of Belgium's midfielders regularly swapped position, roaming from wide positions to central areas and vice versa. With defenders like Thomas Vermaelen and Vincent Kompany at the back, the road duels have nothing to complain about when it comes to the defensive side of the game. Fullbacks Jan Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld were in fact centre-backs who were capable of taking over from Vermaelen and Kompany at any time. On 11th October 2013, Belgium qualified for the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Wilmots is credited with not only giving the young group confidence in themselves as well as enjoying a close relationship with his players, but also at the same time being capable of instilling discipline to the squad. During the group stage, Belgium topped the group with all 3 wins before exiting the tournament at the quarter-final stage. On 13th October 2015, Belgium won the group stage to qualify for the UEFA Euro 2016 in the last game of the stage against Israel. After a disappointing European Championship, Wilmots was fired by the Royal Belgian Football Association on 15th July 2016. On 3rd August 2016, they hired Robert Martinez to replace Wilmots. With the appointment of Martinez, he began to deploy 3-4-3 and 3-4-2-1 formation during possession. He chose this structure to eliminate the issue of the lack of a proper left back and instead used 3 central defenders and wing backs. On the back, their captain Kompany was there alongside Alderweireld and Vertonghen, supported by the midfield of Witsel and De Bruyne alongside Carrasco and Meunier. His front 3 usually consists of Hazard, Lukaku and Martinez. Out of possession, they barely press high and use the 5-4-1 formation. The idea was to force opponent to play wide but also rarely press their fullbacks with wing backs. The striker was used to press the centre back or cut one of the centre back while playing against back 4. Martinez would use 4-3-3 formation using De Bruyne in the striker position to cut the passing lane from opposite midfield. Although they have not won any big tournaments trophies with the Rise, but they have shown world how good they are and they would beat any team in the world in their day. From being only participant in qualifying round to being called the best in the world, they sure have come a long way.